What's up, fantasy managers? This video is our trade deadline special. The fantasy playoffs are getting close, and now it's time to think about players to trade for or trade away to make a good playoff run. We will share our favorite trade highs and trade lows that will help you get to the fantasy championship. If that interests you, stick around for 7 seconds.
What's up, zoners? This is Tyler, Big Turd Ward, and Jason, the lucky bastard youth will, coming at you live from the West Coast. And this is Fantasy Red Zone. Today's episode, we have our trade deadline special. Jason, we've been talking about this shit for like a month, but guess what, dude? We got full-time jobs. We've got no free time. We have wives that like wonder what we do with our fucking free time. I'm like, dude, I don't have free time.
What free time?
It's like, what do you think I'm spending all my money on? Bills. It's like, dude. And beer. I mean, that's $10 a week. 3 tall cans. That's how it goes. Oh, dude. Somebody just messaged. Jay Lambo. Shout out to Jay Lambo. Thank you for the nice comment. Sorry, Jason. Somebody just commented on our shit. Hey, trade deadline. We're going to be telling you players from each position pretty much that our favorite people to buy, our favorite people to sell. Like 3 people from each position. We should pay attention to this shit because this is important, man. These are reasonable people, Jason. These are not like Christian McCaffrey. You should trade for fucking Christian McCaffrey.
Duh, right?
People you get. Yeah. So, Jason, please tell the public how they can help this show because we fucking need it.
Yes, this week has been crazy. We've put a lot of effort into these videos, especially the one for today. We got no time. There's no time. We need more time. We could get more time. If you got some subscriptions, and if you guys could press the like, because we like the likes, also leave us a comment. Let us know of some players that you want to trade for or trade away. If you got any questions, hopefully we got the answers. And if you like the radio, we're also on Spotify, the Fantasy Red Zone.
It's like Justin Timberlake in this motherfucker, Jason.
Cry me a river.
No, we're talking about Time.
Oh, the movie. No Time? Or Got Time? Or
No Time. It's just called Time. About Time is a romance that my wife made me watch like on our second date, and I had to act like I loved it. So, hey, Jason, that was to you. Great, awesome breakdown to Jason on his Thursday night. Good job. All right, Jason.
I do the best I can because a lot of the information for the next week doesn't come out on Tuesday. It's like a lot of work.
All right, people. So the trade deadline, the trades that are coming through at the deadline, the main focus that you should be looking at is the playoff schedule because people will be unloading people will be unloading players with shitty playoff schedules, as should you. We will tell you these players. And then trading for, they could be average players, but they've got a great schedule that makes them great, Jason. So we are looking at for that. We're going to start off with quarterbacks. Are you ready for this?
Let's jump into it. Let's do this.
Kyler Murray, I do not have I think he was quarterback 13 last week. He has the 7th best playoff schedule, Jason. And I like this because, he is, people do not remember how good he is. They just remember, him sitting out, video games, Call of Duty got released, shit like that. So he is being undervalued right now. 7th best schedule. All of the best schedules in the NFL for quarterbacks, fantasy playoffs, are like the shittiest unstartable quarterbacks ever. So he really has like the 2nd best schedule as far as startable quarterbacks, Jason.
Yes, so he's going against San Francisco. Okay, so I think he's home against San Francisco. He's at Chicago, and he's at Philadelphia.
Correct.
In the past 5 games, those teams had combined an average of 18.5 points between them, 4 quarterbacks. The Eagles, who they play in the finals, have averaged 22 points, 2 quarterbacks in the last 5 games, which is 6th most. Murray has played 1 game this year, and he scored 16 points. The passing touchdowns will come. He didn't have a passing touchdown last week, but they will come. But look at the connection that he had with tight end McBride. Like, they were just popping off. And he also got Marquise Brown, their number 1, that they had a good connection last year, good rapport. But he's also dangerous on the ground. Last game, Murray has 6 rushes, 33 yards, and a touchdown. He's a crazy dual threat. I believe for his career, he averages 20 points a game, Tyler, for his career.
Yeah, and I have Jalen Hurts. I've been trying to offload Kyler. I've been listening. I've been trying to offload him because I already have a quarterback. But if you do not have a quarterback, if you need a quarterback, you got Jared Goff. Jared Goff is great. Man, Kyler's ceiling is like top 5 in the league right now, Jason.
Yeah.
You said he had 6 rushes. Guess how many of those were red zone rushes?
6.
3.
3.
You're like my wife. Like, guess how many pages I read? I'm like, 200. She's like, pissed off. Like 130. I'm like, what's a lot? It's like you never overguesstimate. You have to underestimate because the reason they're asking you that question is because they want to feel good about themselves. Don't ever overestimate.
Okay, he had 2 red zone rushes, right?
Wrong.
Oh wow, how many?
3. God damn it!
Oh my gosh, dude, that's a lot. That's good. 50% of the rushes.
And if you listen to Colin Cowherd, he's always talking about how Kyler Murray has the prettiest ball. He throws the best ball in the league. Dude, he finished 8th in highly accurate throws last week, Jason. So he's got it with the legs. He's got it with the arms. He's only 5'10", but he's probably on SARMs. I think there's some kind of steroids.
And, well, also one thing to look at, too, is that every game that he's going to play against is on actual grass. The same, grass that tore his ACL last year.
God damn.
So these are all like revengeful games.
God damn, Jason. God damn. That is some next level analysis.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
I don't know. That's crazy. All right.
I just made that up.
You ready for the next one, Jason?
Yeah.
But seriously, like Kyler, I think that Kyler is being undervalued coming off of IR. They see the 16 points or 18, whatever. I think he only scored like 16 or 17 points last week.
16.
Yeah, it's only going to go up. So keep an eye out for him. So that's one thing. You want to kind of trade for undervalued players. And Dak Prescott is our next guy, Jason. Quarterback 6 on the fucking year.
Mm-hmm.
He does have the 4th best startable or playoff schedule. He is the number 1 startable playoff or, startable quarterback schedule. You are a Cowboys fan. I was like, dude, fuck Dak Prescott before the year. I was like, I don't want any piece of McCarthy offense. I don't know what happened over the last 4 weeks, but something's happened. And Dak Prescott, like people like me, dude, I still don't want Dak Prescott as my quarterback or whatever. So go out there and trade for him. His value is still kind of low relative to his production.
Yeah, so he's going to be at Buffalo, at Miami, and home against Detroit. In the past 5 weeks, each one of those teams have combined average of 20 points, 2 quarterbacks. So with a CeeDee Lamb that's healthy, Prescott will continue to do well. He's 8th in deep ball attempts and 3rd in deep ball completion percentage at 54%. Lamb and maybe Brandon Cooks, like owners, can appreciate something like that. He's 1st in red zone attempts and 5th in the NFL with 17 touchdowns and 4th in yards per attempt at 8.1. He is number 1 in pressure completion percentage at 72%, which is important because when they face the Bills in Week 15, and the Bills like the blitz, his completion percentage against man and zone are both top 15. So it doesn't matter what defense you play, Dak is kind of killing it this year. He's kind of doing his thing. He's kind of on fire right now. He's on fire. Dak
Prescott's on fire.
On fire. Who is that? Is that Adele?
Nah, it's like fuck, dude. I don't know.
Rihanna?
I have no idea, Jason.
You were singing it. I thought maybe it was in your CD.
Yeah, I listen to the radio, man. It's like the radio, and then they say, "Oh," then by the time they tell you the artist name, it's like fucking 4 artists that they tell you, and it's like, how am I supposed to affiliate that song with that art? I don't know. Jason, sorry.
Yeah.
So looking at Dak's playoff schedule, you know what I like about it? He's going to have to go against 3 teams that score the goddamn football. They put the football over the goal line, Jason.
Yes, that's very
important.
important.
What is he going to have to do? He's going to have to fucking score. So, like, Tony Pollard, I was like, I've been trying to think about if I should trade for Tony Pollard. They want, I've been being offered Tony Pollard for my Puka, and Puka just has an amazing schedule. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, dude, when I was looking at the schedule, I was like, at least Cowboys have to score the ball. Jason, anyways, he's finished last 4 weeks, quarterback 1, quarterback 3, quarterback 2, quarterback 1, last 4 games, and he leads literally every single passing statistic during that time. It's just, I don't know what to say, Jason. He just has, he's still an undervalued quarterback, and he's got an amazing schedule. So Dak Prescott, one of our favorite buys.
He's one of the favorite buys going into the rest of the year. The Texas Coast offense seems to be working for him. It's not really working too much for Tony Pollard, but it's working for him. And you said it, Tyler. He's going up against teams that could score, and he's going to have to try to play catch up. And I'm not going to do that on the run. He's got the weapons to do it, and he's been showing it.
All right, Jason, from my team's or your team's quarterback to my team's quarterback, Dobbs, dude. He's been on 2 fucking teams, and he's still quarterback 10. He has the 19th best schedule. So the main reason I am trying to buy Dobbs, Jason, is because he is undervalued. I think. I mean, you just dropped him. I mean, a couple weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was a waiver wire dude, but I think him going from the Cardinals to the Vikings makes him a top 10-ish quarterback. So I think that you should buy him while people still view him as a borderline, just like a bye week starter. That's the main motivation.
I had to start him because Herbert was on a bye, and I thought I had a pretty good matchup because the way he's been playing, and he was home against the Bengals, but the Bengals just destroyed Dobbs, and I was like, never again! I hate Dobbs. But Dobbs has been on 2 teams. He was on the Browns team during training camp.
They miss him.
Yep. And this guy's managed to be quarterback 10. His passing yards aren't great, and he's only thrown for 11 touchdowns this year, but he has 5 rushing touchdowns this season. He has 62 carries, which is 3rd in the league for quarterbacks. And now he's on a better team with a better offensive system and better weapons. All the weapons will continue to improve when they get the best wide receiver in the league to return, Justin Jefferson. You can imagine that he's going to maintain 20 points a game with rushing touchdowns, Justin Jefferson, and TJ Hawkinson.
Dude, his weapons, coaching, offensive line, all upgraded tremendously. Top 8 fantasy finish in 50% of his games this year, dude.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, I know Cincinnati, at least they have to score against Cincinnati. Detroit is another another okay matchup. They have to score against that. Green Bay is their bad matchup that kind of fucks him up as far as 19th best, Jason. Otherwise, he'd be in the 20s, or he'd be like in the top 10 best. And Green Bay, dude, I don't really care. So his floor is high because he's had like 7 out of 10 games. He's had at least 6 rushing attempts. Like you said, he rushes the ball all the time. That when you have a rushing quarterback, his floor is high. I thought he was an 8. On my waiver wire show, Jason, I was like, he's an 18-point quarterback. Now I think that he's a 20-plus point quarterback. My goal every week is to get 20-plus points for my quarterback. Dobbs, dude, if you could trade for him, I don't really as long as he doesn't have a fucking crazy-ass schedule, which he does not, I'm totally fine with trying to trade for him while it's like him and Kyler, dude. It's like perception is not equal to reality on those two. Kyler does have a better schedule, but I think Dobbs has even like a lower perception of reality, was what I'm trying to say. I don't even know. I'm fucking drinking. I say perception, I say reality. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's perception of the inception. This guy, he has 5 20-point games this year and 3 straight 20-point games. So
on 2 different teams. All right.
Yep.
On 3 different teams, Jason, which is, you blew my mind with that. I'm surprised I'm even talking because my mind should be all over these walls. Jason.
Yeah.
Rachaad White is coming up next. We're going to our running backs. Right. Running back 13 on the year. I was all negative Rachaad White. I was like, fuck Rachaad White, dude. You want a piece of... Have you seen fucking Baker Mayfield throw in the preseason? 7th best, Jason. Playoff schedule, and he's already... Dude, he's killing it lately. I feel like he's a top 10 running back every single week. And what you have to give up to get him is not crazy. So what do you feel about or Rashad White?
All right. He is at Green Bay, I think. Oh man. Well, okay. He's going against Green Bay, Jacksonville, New Orleans. In the last 5 games, those teams has combined average of 17 points to running backs. And the surprise rise of the offensive line has improved. White's running from last year. He looks better from last year. Since week 7, White has scored over 12 points and averaging 17 points a game. And he is, what am I trying to say here? Oh, and he is involved in the passing game. For running backs, he is third with 35 receptions and second in receiving yards for running backs at 362. He's lighting up fools at the right time, and he's going to continue to be on fire the rest of the year. I mean,
Rashad White is on fire.
Rashad White is on fire. Damn, that actually goes together. But yeah, so like he's coming through. I drafted him in my 10-man league, and like he was more just like, I'm going to keep him on the bench and put him in when I have buys. No, I'm putting this guy in every week now because of what he's doing in the passing game, and his running has improved since last year. And I want to give full credit to that Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive line, because we were going into this season being like, this line is going to be trash, and they are playing very well. I want to say like Pro Football Network has them at top 10 heading into
Hey, dude.
week 11.
Jensen, Wirfs, that rookie, the redheaded rookie, so they have the power of the red, Jason. Just like my wife, dude. You just see how strong my wife is. My shoulder, I can't even throw a frisbee because my shoulder. I wrestled my wife. Oh my god, dude. Sorry, Jason. I was like,
You're fine.
I had something to tell you because I was like, dude, I liked your analysis on something, but I forget what it was. But I do want to say, Jason, he is 6th in snap share and 6th in red zone touches for running backs. Snap share does not surprise me. The red zone touches does. He's averaging 84 total yards per game, so it's like, dude, his floor has been insane. He's one of my biggest misses on the year. I'd say him and Breece Hall, but Breece Hall has been, only reason he's been bad is because Aaron Rodgers isn't playing. But his health has been way better than, he has been way better running back than I thought. But yeah, Rashad White, one of my biggest misses, Jason.
Well, unless you go into the offseason of the TikTok, you were very high on this guy.
Yeah, and then I saw then I was like, I forgot what I just got. I saw they started sending me Baker Mayfield shit.
No, don't get, dude, the Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield, they bamboozled us. Because
then I was like, I know Baker Mayfield does not throw to the running backs either. So I was like, fuck Rashad White.
Yeah. I think they did that on purpose to trick everybody because it was not looking good in training camp.
They did a good job.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. All right, Jason. Next up, I've been trying to trade for this dude for like 8 weeks. DeAndre Swift, running back 12 on the year. Him and Mostert, probably like some of the biggest values as far as where you drafted them for running backs. He has the 3rd best, Jason, running back schedule. So that is like top 3 running back schedules with the fucking offensive line, like the goddamn Eagles. I don't know what else more you want.
Yeah. Did you say he's running back 12?
See?
Okay, running back 12, yeah. He is at Seattle, and then at the New York Giants, or home against the New York Giants and home against Arizona. The last 5 games, these teams have combined average of 17 points combined, 2 running backs. Like, Swift should probably be the number 1 target to trade for out of running backs, because everyone knows he's a very talented runner, but he's always been hurt. Well, now he isn't hurt, and he's on a high-power offense as an RB1 and behind the best offensive line in the league. He has a tough road leading up to the playoffs, but he's in the top 10 in 2 important categories for running backs, in red zone carries and receptions. The opportunities are there, and we'll have these opportunities against favorable matchups in the fantasy playoffs.
Yeah, Jason. So, like, what you said is totally correct, but my problem is when you look at like explosive run rate, fucking yards after contact, and all this shit. He's like in the 30s, dude. Not good. So, like, I know that he's talented, but he's fallen off big time. Big time. and he's had some good matchups, had some bad matchups, mostly bad matchups, but none of like which he's gonna face in the playoffs, dude. He's like literally facing like, the third worst, like the seventh worst, and then like the fourth worst or some shit like that. So I just think that his playoff schedule lends to just rushing touchdowns. I think he only has 3 rushing touchdowns, 4 total touchdowns on the year, Jason. He has not reached 100 rushing yards since week 3. So this is a very reasonable trade for. You could probably go get him for not that much if you need a running back. But like, and just man, Jason, like Pat, Pat is the owner in our league. He has like Henry and Jacobs. I have been trying to trade him for so long, and he will not trade me Swift. So, but just hope that the owner is running back heavy. Trade him some other shit. Go get Swift.
I know Pat's the perfect owner to go get some. Give him some better wide receivers.
He's like, fuck that, dude. He's like, you have your own TV show?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, dude, I've got my own show. So can you. It's no big deal. Doesn't mean I know any more than you. Just means I work way too much.
For free.
For free. All right, Jason. So, yeah, that's DeAndre Swift. I have an honorable mention after the next guy. Our next guy, the King, also Pat owns him as well.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry, running back 9 on the year. He faces the goddamn same team twice in the playoffs, Jason. The team he's dominated forever. They are a different team this year, but he has the 8th best playoff schedule.
Yep. He is home against Houston, home against Seattle, and then he's at Houston. The last 5 games, these teams have combined an average of 17.5 points to running backs. Seattle right now is giving up 22 points, and Henry will play Seattle home in the second round. Henry, hold on, I gotta scroll down a little bit here. Henry has done well in the receiving game this year with a 3.4 yards per route run, which is number 1 for running backs. And on the ground, he has 8 breakaway runs, which is 3rd in the league. And then, like you said, Tyler, we all know the damage Henry does to the Texans. He only has a couple of 200-yard games here and there against them. He dominates the Texans for a divisional game.
Dude, he has 10 touchdowns in 5 games versus the goddamn Texans.
Yeah, I know. That's his team. That's
the last 5 games, man. It's like he fucking averages 2 touchdowns a game versus the goddamn Texans. He is second in the league in rushing yards, although he's getting outsnapped by fucking Tajay Spears like the last 3 games, right? 4 games this year under 50% snap percentage. He is 5th in explosive run rate and 10th in missed tackles, Jason. So not only is this guy he's living up to the reputation, even though he's not getting his touches that he needs to wear down that fucking defense.
Yeah, he needs to get those carries. He needs to get more than 11 carries like he did last week. He only had 11.
Yeah, so again, Houston twice, Seattle once. Seattle's given up a ton of goddamn points to the running backs. Their fucking corners are locking people down.
Yeah.
All right, honorable mentions real fast, Jason. Kyren Williams, 27th best, but go get him before he comes back. I don't even think he's playing this week. If you can't go get him, this is coming out on Friday. Just go do it Friday, Saturday. Try to do that. Isaiah Pacheco has the 6th best schedule, but I do not trust Kansas City to fucking run it down people's throats because that never happens. Jerome Ford, 10th best schedule. He is not fully realized as his value yet. Go trade for him. And then also David Montgomery. People are all enamored with Gibbs right now. Dude, they have the 13th best schedule. Go trade for him. All right, Jason, wide receivers, are you ready for this?
Yep.
Devontae Smith, he's everybody's trade forward target, Jason. Wide receiver 25 on the year. The 4th best schedule. So they've got an amazing running back schedule, quarterback schedule, fucking wide receiver schedule. So, yeah, what do you think about him?
All right. What we got here, he is at Seattle, home against the New York Giants and Arizona. Last 5 games, these teams have a combined average of 22.5 points to wide receivers. The Giants in the second round are giving up 29 points to wide receivers since week 6. The main thing is getting a piece of this offense. Smith has been down with the fantasy numbers this year, but Dallas Goedert will miss some time, and we all know what happened last year when he started missing some time. This is a high power offense, and now Smith will have a lot more opportunities when he's taking Dallas Goderte's targets.
There you go, Jason. So he only has a 19% target share on the year, but he's only 21st in deep targets. Last year, he was kind of getting some crazy deep targets and shit like that. So his explosive plays have went down, even though his target share has kind of remained the same as last year. So that's why he's not done so well. Now Goderte is gone. Like you said, it coincided with him exploding last year. Go get Devontae Smith. The best schedule. Goderte injured. I'm sorry, I'm burping. I'm drinking. Next up, Jason, you just traded for this dude, Hollywood Brown. You traded for him earlier in the year. You were smart before Kyler Murray came back. But hey, dude, he did not do well this last week. So you have his chance once again before he blows up to trade for him. So this video is coming out on a Friday. Fucking drop your shit and get your players together. Go trade for him, Jason. He's wide receiver 32 on the year. He has the third best, Jason, the third best playoff schedule for wide receivers.
Yep, he is home against the San Francisco. He is at Chicago, and he's at Philly. The last 5 games, these teams have combined average 22.5 points to wide receivers. This is one of the products of Kyler Murray having a great schedule. So trading for a Cardinals wide receiver 1 might not be a bad idea. I mean, that's what I did. Brown leads the Cardinals in targets, but most of those targets came from Josh Dobbs, but they didn't have like a great connection, because I remember I was like, this guy gets like 12 targets a game, but his catch rate is like so low. But maybe this week I could put him as star of the week. No, the catch rate was still horrible. Maybe with an upgrade in quarterback, the catch rate will improve. The targets will still be there heading forward. And this could be a great pick, a great trade. I'm putting my faith in Kyler Murray and Marquise Brown.
And last week, Jason, he only had a 12.5% target share. That's like not shit. He has over a 25% target share in all the games previous to that. He is 12th in deep targets. And we just talked about Kyler Murray throwing being 8th in the most accurate passes. So look for Marquise Brown to rebound very quickly. Go trade for him before he blows up. All right, Jason. I kind of have a slash on this, but we're pretty much talking about Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua if you want to trade for him. Kupp is wide receiver 58, whatever. 6th best schedule, Jason. He's got 5 or less fantasy points in the last 3 games. So go trade for Kupp if the owner is desperate.
Yeah. Tyler I'm going to have to probably pause this again.
What happened?
I didn't do Koopa Kupp or Nuka.
Oh, you're okay. Oh, don't worry about it. Hey, I got it. All right, Washington.
Okay.
Don't even pause about it. Well, they can fucking hear this. This is real shit.
Okay.
San Francisco. No. Oh, Cooper Kupp. They're going against Washington in week. This is what I've got. Puka. They are offering me Pollard. I'm like, oh my god, dude. Look at the schedule. I don't know what I could do. I don't know what I should do. I love wide receiver 2s against Washington for some reason. Fucking kill it, dude. And wide receivers in general, they are the second worst. They're giving up the second most points to fantasy wide receivers. Then they're going against New Orleans. They're giving up the 8th least amount of points. So not a good matchup in the second week of playoffs. But if you survive that, Jason, you get the New York Giants. God damn it, dude. You get like the Janoris Jenkins motherfucker out there with his dreads so tight, he doesn't know where he should be. I'm just talking shit about Janoris Jenkins because everybody does. I don't know why. I've been drinking. I'm starting to slur my words. Jason.
Well, look what the Giants just gave up to Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, and Brandon Cooks last week.
There you go. So he's got an amazing playoff schedule. Cooper Kupp and Puka. Cooper Kupp has a 30% target share with Stafford this year. Stafford is playing this week. I am starting Puka, so you should probably start all these assholes. And like I said, he's got 5 or less fantasy points in the last 3 games. That's kind of coincided with last 2 games. Stafford has been fucked up, dude. Like his finger and all that shit. So he really only had one bad game. Do not judge him by that. Go trade for Cooper Kupp. This is the lowest he's ever going to be, Jason.
Yeah.
And then I do have one honorable mention. I have Sutton down here. He has the 8th best playoff schedule. And anybody on the Denver Broncos, if you want to go trade for them, they are being undervalued right now. So I like undervalued trade fours. All right, Jason, buy tight ends.
Wait a second.
Waller. What'd you say?
Hold up, Tyler. I think we had a miscommunication over this because, DK Metcalf.
Oh, you had Metcalf on here?
Yeah, that's what.
Oh, he's one of my honorable mentions. I wanted him more than anybody.
I could go over him real quick because
there you go. Go over him.
The text said Smith, Metcalf, and Hollywood.
Dude, I'm so sorry. I went over the text. I fucked up.
That's all right.
I would have Metcalf over Puka and Kupp.
Okay, let me go over Metcalf real quick then. So he's wide receiver 36, and he has the best fantasy playoff schedule. He's home against Philly, at Tennessee, and home against Pittsburgh. The last 5 games, these teams have combined average 25 points to wide receivers. Just like last year, Metcalf gets targeted in the red zone. He is 4th in red zone targets. Metcalf has been dealing with injuries and slowly but surely is becoming healthy. He averages 8 targets a game, while Lockett is closer to 7. Metcalf has the potential to pop off for fantasy managers moving forward. And if the running game, let's say, not exist, they are going to have to, throw the ball. And Metcalf is already a favorite wide receiver for Geno Smith, and he's going to have the best matchups in fantasy playoffs.
There you go, Jason. And so when you see it, because DK Metcalf, I was just trying to look it up, but I don't have cell phone service. Dude, DK Metcalf is his targets. Go look at his production, his fantasy points versus targets the last 5 games. Go trade for DK Metcalf, Jason. Thank you for doing that. And then also, when I got to go out to Walmart and buy binkies and diapers after this. So go check this. Timestamp DK Metcalf after Cooper Kupp. All right. Into the tight ends, Jason. Darren Waller, tight end 18 on the year. He's been injured a fucking lot. Second best. He has the second best schedule for tight ends this year, Jason. So Tyrod will return. How do you feel about Darren Waller?
All right. So he is at New Orleans, at Philly, and home against the Rams. First round against the Saints, who allow the most points to tight ends overall in the last 5 games, I believe. And the second round against the Eagles, who allow the 6th most points to tight ends in the last 5 games. And he finishes the championship against the Rams, who allow near 9 points to tight ends. Plus, he looks good with Tyrod Taylor as a quarterback. And Tyrod, I think, can return in week 14, just in time for the playoffs.
Yeah, and Jason, Darren Waller, I think he went, I couldn't really find the actual thing, but I think it was 2 weeks ago when he went on IR. So 2 to 3 weeks, expect him to be back. People are acting like he's dead. Trade him go trade your whatever tight end. Get Darren Waller on your team for the playoffs. Only do this if you are, destined for the playoffs. Okay, that's probably the asterisk or whatever for this. The disclaimer, Jason, you need to be. This is if you're trading for somebody that's injured, you need to be ready. You need to be already on your path to the playoffs.
Exactly. Well said. Well put. Well put.
All right. Jason, here we go, dude. The burn victim of the year, David Njoku. Yeah. He is tight end 16. This fool's got the 4th best tight end schedule, Jason.
Yeah, he's home against Chicago. He's at Houston and home against the New York Jets. Chicago and Houston give up 10 points to tight ends in the last 5 games, and he is 9th in tight end or targets for tight ends. Now, Deshaun Watson is out. He's out, Tyler. Season-ending ankle surgery, I believe.
Yeah, and I was supposed to do some research, see how he did with goddamn P.J. Walker, but I don't know.
Or no, I don't even think it's P.J. Walker. That's I think they did the rookie from UCLA.
You're right.
As starter. Because I put here, now we have a rookie that will need to rely on the tight end even more in these matchups. So he could be somebody you could get. Very talented tight end.
Tight end's whatever. Tight end's kind of hard to do. It's either you have a top 3 tight end or you don't. So
yeah. Yep.
This is just kind of maneuvering around for playoff schedules.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Jason, we're on to ourselves.
Okay.
Are you ready for that Miami quarterback? I guess he's got a new haircut. I don't know. They kept on talking about his fucking new haircut. I was like, I don't give a fuck what his head looks like. He is quarterback 8 on the year. This dude has the worst playoff schedule. Number 1 worst playoff schedule on the year, Jason. Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah. He's home against the New York Jets, home against Dallas, and at Baltimore. The last 5 games, these teams combined an average 16 points to quarterbacks. The Ravens and the Jets are bottom quarter in opposing quarterback points. Looks at the I'm going to say look at the defensive lines that Tua will face. The Ravens lead the league in sacks, and the Cowboys defense is a turnover machine. Managers could benefit from trading Tua for a player with a better schedule for the rest of the season.
Would you trade Tua for Kyler?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I probably would too.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking about that when I was up there. I was like, man, I probably would, man.
Yeah, I would.
But you got to add some players and do whatever you have to do to make that happen because people do not like lateral moves or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jason. So, I mean, he's got 20. He has, and the thing that I noticed against good defenses, 11 fantasy points at New England, 13 points versus Buffalo, 10 points versus Philadelphia, 11 points versus Kansas City. Then he has 22 plus points in every other game.
Yeah.
And now he has a shitty schedule, dude. So, like, I don't really want, 13 points from my quarterback in the goddamn playoff schedule. I have had Aaron Rodgers score me like 5 points a couple years in a row, dude, in the first round of playoffs. That fucked me bad. So, yeah, Tua Tagovailoa, sell him for somebody else, even if it's Kyler Murray. Tua. I really like Tua. You're awesome. I'm glad that you did not get concussed this year. I should shut the fuck up because I'm probably jinxing you. But I was a Tua owner last year, and man, I felt bad for the dude. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, Jason, the next up. He is the second quarterback on this list. Quarterback 20 on the year. He has the 4th worst schedule. It's not like he's been setting the world on fire, but you're going off of name value alone here.
Very true.
Tell that he turned it around at the probably this point last year. Went on fucking fire, dude. So try to use that as your selling point. How do you feel about T-Law?
He's home against Baltimore. He's at Tampa Bay and home against Carolina. The last 5 games, these teams combined an average of 21 points, 2 quarterbacks, which isn't bad. But first round is against the Ravens, who are allowing 15 points to quarterbacks in the last 5 games. If you could get past them, Lawrence plays the Buccaneers, who give up the most points since week 6 with 22 points. Then in the finals, he plays the Panthers, who teams normally run the ball against instead of throw. We discussed this earlier in the week when Trevor Lawrence was one of our crashes. He does not do well against good defenses. His O-line is really bad, or defensive lines, because his O-line is really bad, ranked in the bottom quarter of the league. He can't handle the pressures and the sacks. So I'm saying is, he's probably not going to help you survive the first round, at least because of how bad or how good the Ravens defense is.
Jason, they were in the bottom quarter of offensive line rankings last year for PFF. Then they're like, oh yeah, we'll show you. We'll trade away our best fucking offensive lineman, Juwan Johnson, whatever his name is, Juwan Johnson, I think, to the Kansas City Chiefs. Now look at the Chiefs, man. They're doing pretty good with him. And so again, they're in the bottom quarter of offensive line rankings. Trevor Lawrence has ranked in the top 10 this season in weekly fantasy scoring just twice. So he's been a top 10 quarterback just twice this year. You drafted him to be a top 5 quarterback. That's why you drafted him. Now he goes against Baltimore, number 1 against quarterbacks on the year. Tampa Bay's whatever. Carolina, number 4 on the year. Jesus, man. Go sell T-Law on name value alone and the fact that he turned it around this time last year. All right, Jason, I really like this next guy. It's hard for me to talk shit about him, but his guy. Dude, like Chris Long said, he's a young chicken-eating Brett Favre. Sam Howell, quarterback 5 on the year, Jason. He has the 5th worst playoff schedule. I hate his playoff schedule. I mean, you'll go over it, but it's not good. I do not like rookie quarterbacks or young quarterbacks going against like pass rushes like this. No, thank you. What do you think about Hal?
Hal, he is at the Rams, at New York Jets, and at San Francisco. Last 5 games, these teams combined an average of 17 points, 2 quarterbacks. I like to think 17 is like the edge of a good game for a quarterback or, a decent game. He has one bad matchup in the second round against the Jets. The other 2 are about average, but they're not great. But they're at kind of like average matchups. Only 3 players have scored over 20 points against the Jets. Hal is a mistake magnet, and he has a total of 11 turnovers this season, and the Jets and the 49ers defense are at the top of the league for takeaways. So there's definitely quarterbacks out there with better matchups than Sam Howell.
Yeah, Jason, I came back around in time. I was like, oh, it would be so bad.
You did good.
He's first in passing attempts, Jason. Oh, man, I drank all this.
Thirsty.
First in passing attempts. He's first in passing yards and air yards and 5th in touchdowns. He could prove us wrong here, but I would bet on just like, dude, if you could just trade away Sam Howell for something, a decent running back or wide receiver, I would take that any day. All right, Jason, moving forward, I own this dude. I've been trying to trade him away so hardcore. Looks like I'm stuck with him. I mean, he's got great metrics and everything, except for, yeah, like when it comes to like lead league and shit, but when it comes to like explosive run rate or missed tackles, all this shit, he sucks. Kenneth Walker, running back 5 on the year. I told you to draft him pre-draft. It's like one of my dudes. 15th worst schedule for the playoffs, but this is about him getting out-snapped and other shit, Jason. How do you feel about Walker?
Yeah, he's home against Philly, at Tennessee, and home against Pittsburgh. The first round isn't pretty against the Eagles and the 49ers in week 4. But then in week 14, he has the 49ers, and then he's at Dallas in week 13, and then again against the 49ers in week 10. So even just like leading up to like the second round of the playoffs, it's not looking good. That's a tough stretch of games heading into the playoffs, and then he plays the Eagles in the first round. We already know this running back is like a boom or bust player, and now Zach Charbonnet is taking away a lot of snaps. Walker's already trending this week as a trade away.
Yeah, dude. So he's been out-snapped by Sharp since like week 8. He has only averaged 18. He's only averaged 13 touches per game since then. If you tell me Kenneth Walker's getting 13 touches per game, no thanks. He is 41st in missed tackles, and that's what fucking bothers me, Jason. Because last year I should have looked it up to see what he was, but when I watched him, that was like his specialty was missing tackles. So not looking good for Kenneth Walker. I would get out on Kenneth Walker while he is running back 5. People will see running back 5 and be like, holy shit. Yeah. So if you know a lot about fantasy football, you will probably not be trading. You probably won't be able to. You're probably not going to trade for Kenneth Walker. But get these people in that are going off a name and production, alone.
Yes.
Speaking of that, Jason, your favorite player, Joe Mixon, running back 23 on the year.
How dare you?
He has the goddamn 3rd worst running back schedule on the year. How do you feel about Joe Mixon? I think I already know.
He is home against Minnesota. He's at Pittsburgh, and he's at Kansas City. The last 5 games, these teams combine an average of 16 points, 2 running backs. But a divisional game in Pittsburgh is always tough. Out of 10 games against the Steelers, he has only scored 3 times. He is averaging 11 points a game this year and is touchdown dependent. And you're telling me he doesn't score against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who he plays in the fantasy playoffs? As running back 23, I would try a different player. Yeah, get rid of him. Bye.
So, yeah, I mean, dude, Mixon, they say, like, he literally should be, like, a top 5 running back. If he was any other player out there, I forget, it's like the usage that he gets and all this other shit that he gets. It's like unlike any other player. I mean, he's, dude, handling at least 70% of snaps since week 2. 10th in carries within the 5-yard line, averaging 18 touches, 77 yards per game. But him against bad, like when he has a bad matchup, dude, it is fucking bad. So if you can just trade away Joe Mixon plus something to upgrade on running back or wide receiver, that's what you should do.
It's been 1 year since he's had in the regular season. He's had a 100-yard rushing game.
That's fucking crazy. I thought you were going to say, since he's had 50 points in a game, I was like, yeah, that was one time, dickhead.
That was when he had the 100-yard rushing game.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, Jason. Next up, Saquon Barkley. I was trying to trade for him for a long time. I guess I never looked at his goddamn playoff schedule, Jason. Running back 25 on the league. He has the worst playoff schedule. And yeah, like I'm okay with trading for Darren Waller, but man, like there's going to be nothing for Saquon Barkley. He might touch the ball 20 times, but it's not going to turn into much. How do you feel about Saquon Barkley, dude? Like his playoff schedule is insane.
I was the same way. Earlier this season, I was trying to trade away Jalen Hurts for Saquon Barkley. Now realizing the adjusted strength of schedule for fantasy playoffs, he is at New Orleans, at Philly, and home against the Rams. The last 5 games, these teams combined an average of 14.5 points to running backs. Barkley is already behind the worst offensive line, and he's on the road first round in New Orleans, which is terrible. And it doesn't get better for a divisional game against the Eagles. You're hoping to make it to the finals and play the Rams, but they have 16 points, 2 running backs in the last 5 games. So their defense is playing a lot better against the run. Do it now, what you should have done weeks ago, and trade away Barkley.
Yeah, dude. So Saquon Barkley, shit, I just had this. He is 6th in carries and 6th in red zone touches. But how many fucking? That's crazy because how many times does the Giants get in the red zone? So every time they get in the red zone, it's all Saquon Barkley, I would imagine. He is 11th in explosive run rate. So the talent is still there because he's doing this with no offensive line.
Yeah.
But it's just what it is, dude. Like, if Tyrod Taylor is there, he's probably manageable. But at the same time, if you could trade away Saquon Barkley for something, like his name value alone, dude, just go get you something better, more reliable with a better playoff schedule.
I think I went up against a guy who had Saquon Barkley this past week, and he didn't even play him.
Dude, that's crazy. Like, Tony Pollard is on, the bench for Serrano this week. So shit like that, dude.
Yep.
And then Jason, wide receiver, or no, honorable mention, Brian Robinson has the 4th worst schedule. He just got that big game last week. Go trade Brian Robinson while you still can, dude. Fucking do it.
Yeah, you got to do it this week.
That's it. All right, Jason. On to the wide receivers. DJ Moore, wide receiver 8 on the year. He has the 4th worst playoff schedule. On top of that, we have a grip strength issue probably happening with Fields. I loved Fields, man, like the last 3 games he played. Love DJ Moore. But now we go into a bad schedule with an injured quarterback. It makes me nervous.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about that too. He's at Cleveland. He's home against Arizona and home against Atlanta. DJ Moore had a 50-point game in week 5. Since then, it's been 7, 9, 7, 3, and 7. I mean, this is largely because of Justin Fields has been out with a thumb injury, and Fields is set to return. And this show has mentioned before about grip strength, and we saw the downfall of Russell Wilson in Seattle after a thumb injury. It's like, how do you know that? How can you trust Fields coming back from that kind of injury? And then in the first playoff game, he's at Cleveland. Only one of the best defenses in the league. Moore will face one of the what am I talking about? In the last 5 weeks, these teams. Oh, actually, that's it. I am so lost right here. I think I accidentally copied information from another player onto this one. The last set. Well, the last thing is because of his thumb, and then the first week of the playoffs, you're going to the Browns. It's hard to trust DJ Moore in this type of scenario. And that's what I'm trying to really get at.
Yeah, and Jason, even with Fields under center, Moore only had a 22% target share. So it's like, yeah, I like 22%, but in that offense with a bad schedule, I'm not even with that. I'm kind of tripping out about. But he did have a 45% air yard share. That is good. I really like that. But yeah, dude. So I think the biggest thing is Justin Fields under pressure. Justin Fields
Yeah.
against bad matchups
Yep.
with a fucked up hand. I will be betting against that and trading DJ Moore. But you could sell all this shit, dude. Like, hey, dude, he's coming back with Justin Fields. Justin Fields coming back, man. Justin Fields coming back. I think that you have a good case to sell him high, even though he's been doing bad. So it's like I've been saying, Jason, do you want 5 targets and 55 yards from your quarterback or from your wide receiver? Start DJ Moore because that's all he's been getting since Bajan's been there. But dude, with Fields, he's another beast, and just sell him on that because the thing is that Fields is probably not going to be what he was.
Yeah, it's the trust game right now, and it's like I do not trust it. I don't trust the situation.
Oh yeah. All right, Jason. Jalen Waddle, I know that he is wide receiver 33. You said not that relevant. I see so much shit about Jalen Waddle on Reddit. Oh my god, he's like one of the most talked about players.
Really?
He has the worst fantasy playoff schedule, dude. Just if when you say the 3 teams, you're gonna be like, holy shit, that is insane. You heard it with Tua. That schedule is insane. Like I don't know, that's probably the worst playoff schedule in the last like 10 years. But yeah, Jason, Jalen Waddle, go out and trade, dude. Go trade him for I don't give a fuck, Ayuk or something, man. Go get him. Go get something for Jalen Waddle. How do you feel about him?
Yeah, so it's like one of the things I was talking about for it being him being irrelevant, but he's wide receiver 33, and like we're talking about him, and what I wanted to say was that we were talking about DK Metcalf, who is wide receiver 36, but the difference is it's like Metcalf is going to like likely improve. He's going to finish the year higher than Waddle.
Yeah, because progression up the butt, dude. Like it's like how can you get targeted so much and not do well?
Yeah, compared to Waddle, who's just like going to be even in a tougher situation than DK Metcalf. Waddle's going to be home against the Jets, home against Dallas, and at Baltimore. The last 5 games, these teams combined an average of 13 points. 2 wide receivers. That is scary. We all know Tyreek Hill will get his. I don't really think there's a defense that can stop his skill. But Waddle has one impressive game over 20 points. And then there's a 15-point game in there somewhere. But most of his games are 10 points and lower. And Tua is already having a tough play for his schedule that will affect Waddle's play. And for some reason, if you didn't trade Waddle and have a shot at the playoffs, beware. Be aware because it's not looking good. I would trade him. Now is the time.
But the good news, Jason, is that Waddle use this as your selling point. 7 red zone targets across the last 6 games. And, he started out weeks 1 through 4 with a 16% target share. Well, that's gone up to 23% since week 4, whatever, to go with all those red zone targets. So, just say things have changed, dude. He gets on red zone targets, blah, 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 blah. But, dude, the fucking playoff schedule, oh, my God, dude. So,
can I ask you a question about those red zone targets?
What?
Was that around the same time the Achane went out?
Maybe you should shut up.
No, I'm just wondering.
Oh no, it is. I mean, it is because it's the last 6 games,
and he's coming back.
Game, so 60% of those, more than 60% of those games, has been without Achane.
Get rid of him.
There you go. So Jalen Waddle, go trade him for somebody else of equal value. Doesn't matter. Once the playoffs hit, he will not live up to his current value, even though his current value ain't shit. All right, Jason. Mike Evans, dude. This guy's people in our league been trading Mike Evans, trying to trade Mike Evans for ever 8 weeks. He's wide receiver 9 on the year. He has the 6th worst playoff schedule, Jason. And Godwin was injured last game. Evans came out with another big game after he'd been kind of struggling. Green Bay. I'm not going to even talk about this, but how do you feel about Evans? Because Baker Mayfield's been dealing with injuries, dude. They have a great offensive line, but I just kind of feel like the year has kind of been taxing on Baker Mayfield, blowing up at the beginning of the year, now taking major steps back.
Yeah, injuries are really starting to set in. He's at Green Bay. He's home against Jacksonville, and then he's home against New Orleans. The last 5 games, these teams combined an average of 18.5 points to wide receivers. Evans was cooking in the beginning of the year with 15, 27, and 14 points, and has been one of Baker Mayfield's favorite targets. His fantasy points start to level out in the middle of the season, and now he has nice matchups starting last week where he scored 24 points against the Titans, but that only goes up until the first round of the playoffs for his matchup against the Packers. And in the championship, he plays a divisional rival, the Saints. He's definitely a player who has helped you into the playoffs, but he likely won't win you games in the playoffs.
Did you say he attacked Titan?
Don't get me started on that. We got to do, that's another episode special.
Aaron came out the Colossal. He was just like, oh my fucking goosebumps are going off the chain right now.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Attack on Titan. Go watch that shit on Hulu.
Yeah.
Watch like the first. I mean, it's pretty good, dude. Pretty fucking good.
Yes.
All right, guys. Next. So Mike Evans, we're done with that. We're almost done, people. Tight ends. I'm gonna go over tight ends that I think that you should trade. Evan Ingram, dude, tight end 14 on the year. He has the third worst playoff schedule. I'm package him to go get a fucking, I don't know, anybody you can type of situation here. Like, dude, if you gave him, like, if you put him on top of a like premier wide receiver or quarterback and try to get Kelsey right now, you'd probably get him. So somebody was just trying to trade me for Kelsey, and I'm like, dude, if you gave me a good tight end, I might be thinking about it. So, like, I mean, that's kind of shit I'm thinking about, Jason. How do you feel about Evan Ingram?
Okay, so he's home against Baltimore. He's at Tampa Bay, and then home against Carolina. The last 5 games, these teams combined an average of 6 points. 2 tight ends. The main issue with Ingram is that he doesn't score, and there has only been 3 receiving touchdowns from tight ends out of the 3 teams that he plays in the playoffs, if that makes any sense. His quarterback is on this schedule too. Trevor will likely get overpowered by defensive linemen, and that will affect Evan Ingram. Did that make sense? Did it not make sense?
I don't know, but when you said it, I was like, the way you said it, I was like, yeah, that's a lot of numbers in a row. I don't really know what that means. If that even makes sense. Like, yeah.
You might have to like rewind it, like click back a little bit and just listen to it again. And just to follow up against like going against bad defenses and Trevor Lawrence's play look at last week's game where Trevor only had a total of like 1 point and Evan Ingram had 3 points.
All right, Jason. He is leading the team in target share with 21%. He has not scored a touchdown this year. There is a chance for him to bounce back. That's what you should sell them on. Okay? Sell them on that shit.
Massage the trade.
All right, Jason, the last person on our list, Cole Kmet, tight end number 6 on the year. He has the 4th worst playoff schedule. I mean, you can just go over those 3 teams, but like, yeah, dude, I'm not, like we said, we're already kind of like, is Justin Fields going to be himself? Even if he does not have the grip strength, I think that would actually help Cole Kmet. But I'm just saying, you could package Cole Kmet and go get a top-tier tight end is what I'm trying to tell you. How do you feel about Cole?
I mean, it's basically, that's really it. He did most of his damage this year with Bagent at the helm.
Secret Bagent, man.
I was like, is it Bagent or Bagent? I was like, what's that song Tyler sing? It was Secret Agent Man. Okay. Last 3 games, he had last 3 games, Cole Kmet has averaged 10 points a game, but now Fields is coming back, and he likes to target DJ more than anybody.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
That was pretty good, right? And like we said before, you need to trust Fields 110%. Make sure he's healthy so he could shred the Browns defense in the first round. I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know. Seat can't sit here. Seats taken.
Seats taken.
All right, everybody.
I got an honorable mention for tight ends.
Do I have one?
No, I have one. Mark Andrews. Trade this guy because he is ruled out versus the Bengals with an ankle injury.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I got the notification like 20 minutes ago.
Are you fucking? When did this happen? When did the fucking ankle injury happen?
20 minutes ago.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and he says out.
Oh my God, I was all start. Okay, well, I guess maybe start fucking Odell Beckham.
Yeah, it said he injured on the first possession of the game and quickly went into the locker room to further examination.
The car is in my driveway. Apparently, Ray ordered DoorDash. Hopefully, it is food.
Hopefully it is. So,
all right, everybody. that is the show. Thank you so much for watching. That is the playoff deadline special. So let us know, if there's players that you think that should be added to this list, dude. This is a group effort, like super important shit here, people. So help everybody out. Comment down below. Jason, send us out.
Yeah, so just so you guys know, this comes out Thursday. This Thursday or Friday. We are not going to have any episodes, anything coming out Saturday or maybe Sunday night. It all really depends. We got a lot going on this next weekend, but I do believe we will have a Monday or a Tuesday breakdown of the weekend. So be ready for that. I will talk to you during those videos.
I get to see Jason. I get to smell his breath this weekend.
The coffee breath.
And everybody else. That's why we might not have a Sunday. We're not going to be doing Sunday live, but maybe look out for the Waiver Wire show late Sunday. Worst case scenario, early Monday. Again, hopefully we earned a thumbs up. Hopefully we earned a subscription. Like I said, dude, like I didn't even have enough time to research this properly because I got a full-time job and a bunch of this show is coming out every single day. So it's just tough, man. If you want to support the show for better content, please do that by, liking and subscribing. That helps so much.
So much.
It's Tyler Big Turd Ward, Jason, the Lucky Bastard Youth Wolf, and we appreciate you.
Deuces.
Catch you on the flip side.